Welcome to BTC 4D Nightly Bitcoin News. I'm your host, Hugh Manatee. I bring you on my daily Bitcoin journey and share the news and themes of the day. Be sure to like the video, subscribe on YouTube, and follow on X. Let's dive into some Bitcoin news today. It was a wild weekend, wild week last week. Let's see what the news of the day from MartyParty. Bitcoin's about to pass Amazon. Looks like Bitcoin already passed what is now 8, Saudi Aramco, and it's headed for number 6, Amazon, then Alphabet, Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, and then gold. So just hopped the largest petrochemical company in the world, Saudi Aramco. Phenomenal news. Let's make this a little bigger for everybody. Sorry, guys. Another one from MartyParty. I like this framing. Bitcoin is an arms race and it has just begun. I think that's a really good framing. The political actors converging on Bitcoin in the US so quickly makes me believe and kind of steelmans my argument that this is an arms race, and that it is going to happen quite quickly at a nation-state level, and we will devote nation-state resources to hash. That's really what I think the long-term outcome is here. And MartyParty references a couple cool things that I like. So he watches two numbers. Let's look at the graphic here. So this is the top 13 Bitcoin holders. You got Satoshi at the top, Binance, BlackRock, IBIT, MicroStrategy, Grayscale, Fidelity, iFinex, which is Bitfinex and Tether, U.S. government, Chinese government, Kraken, Block One, Robinhood, OKX. So a lot of these, one, are based in the U.S., as you can see with the American flags, which is awesome in my view. You got, Wall Street now has 4 of the top 10 private wallets, and 2 of the top 10 wallets are 2 big juggernauts in the global stage politically. So this is a power structure of the future. The top 13 control 4.3 million coins, or a little less than 30% of the supply, or actually a little more than a quarter of the supply at 27.8%. 9.35% is in Wall Street control, and 72% of Bitcoin is held by other wallets. This is the kind of thing that I like to see. These nation-state whales and big company whales are heavy hitters, but there's still a lot of coins out there held by retail and other large holders and early adopters, which I love to see, and that's kind of thing that makes Bitcoin special, right? As we see like long-term holders distribute into strength, we do see newcomers who've gained conviction in Bitcoin take their place, and I think that's one of the best things about Bitcoin as a store of value and as this asset matures. Microstrategy and Michael Saylor over the weekend purchased 51,780 Bitcoin for roughly $4.5 billion at a price of roughly $88,627 per coin. Michael goes into the BTC yield quarter to date and year to date, which is accretive. They're marketing that their strategy is accretive. He's yelling it from the treetops. He's banging the table. He's doing everything he can to show the entire world how easy this strategy is. It is self-proclaimed easy by Michael Saylor. It's not hard, okay? He's taken the career risk for you. Larry Fink has taken the career risk for you, and now he's demonstrating the results as measured by the KPI BTC yield. And what's interesting about BTC yield, and I know I've mentioned it a couple times in previous videos, BTC yield right, is the rate of change of Bitcoin per share. Okay? So if the rate of change of Bitcoin per share increases, you're getting Bitcoin, more Bitcoin per share for free. Okay? Now, using capital markets, MicroStrategy is essentially mining Bitcoin without any risk or exposure to um, hardware decay and atrophy and the price of energy. So this is really leveraging capital markets to get more BTC in such a unbelievable way that even I'm trying to still wrap my head around it. It's just a profound idea and a profound implementation of such an insane idea. It's really something to behold. Um, MicroStrategy's future is going to be very solid. So excited to see what comes from here. Next, I found something on Cointelegraph. Um, NYDIG's head of research, Greg Cipollaro, said in an interview that Bitcoin is now a political imperative. Okay? And I sat on that for a little bit, and my first kind of real thought was, well, if it's a political imperative for the US, that means it's a political imperative for the entire globe. Because we are at the front of leading the world in tech and financial markets. So in kind of exploring this and exploring kind of the themes of the past few weeks with the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, Florida's CEO wanting to add Bitcoin to the state pension funds for all their firefighters, police officers, and teachers, and et cetera. Michigan and Wisconsin holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet and as a treasury asset, or actually investing it in their pensions, and then Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis introducing the bill to the House for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. All this really seems to be what I would call political actors increasing the verticality of the adoption curve. It's shaping up to be something quite special in 2025. Right now, it kind of reminds me of like November and December of 2023, when we weren't sure if the ETFs were going to be approved, and we weren't sure if 2024 was going to be a good year, because if the ETFs don't get approved, Bitcoin's going to dump, and we're just going to have so much uncertainty in the market. We don't know where we're going. We're going to be, running around like a chicken with our heads cut off, all that sort of stuff. But then Bitcoin spot ETFs get approved. And 10 months later, they have over 40 billion in Bitcoin in the ETFs. This kind of feels like that with the strategic Bitcoin reserve. We're not sure that it's going to happen. The rhetoric is ramping up that it's going to happen. Politicians are saying that there's a groundswell of support for it happening. Yet I think we're tempering expectations similar to how we did with the ETFs. But if this would happen, the ramifications are much more impactful than the ETFs, in my opinion. This really sets off a global nation state game theory narrative unlike anything I've ever seen in any asset in my lifetime. So I'm really just kind of waiting with bated breath for January 20th during inauguration, and waiting to see what happens from there. This could be shaping up to be an absolutely ridiculous 2025. Another thing from MartyParty, more news for IBIT. The OCC, the Options Clearing Committee, they regulate options markets in the U.S. and allow options for securities in the U.S. And they'll be listing BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF options tomorrow, the 19th, Tuesday the 19th. Really big day. This has been in the works for a couple months now. It looked like it was getting approved. This isn't big news. It was expected that they'd be approved, but the confirmation that they'll be listed and be able to trade tomorrow is new. So that's big news. It's a big day for iBit. It's pretty wild. I wanted to share this. This is some video I came across of Alan Greenspan. This, I think, was, you see here, U.S. debt downgrade. This must have been a while ago. They had him on when the U.S. debt was downgraded from AAA to AA, I think. I think that's what it says here. But we've had a downgrade before. I think it was circa the financial crisis, somewhere in there. And listen to what he freaking says here.
The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print money to do that. So there is zero probability
Look at his face.
Of default. The United States can
One more
pay
time.
any debt it has because we can always print money to do that. So there is zero probability of default. The United States can pay any debt.
I won't make you watch it a third time. Yeah, this is why we Bitcoin, everybody. Because this guy and Ben Bernanke and Jerome Powell control your time and energy through printing of money that requires no work to bring into supply. They edit numbers on an Excel spreadsheet and devalue your time and energy, the only thing that you have in your entire life, and they debase it. And he's saying it right to your face. This is a real big part of kind of the big Bitcoin rabbit hole, okay? The element of the Federal Reserve and money printing and a fiat currency, which is a currency by decree with no commodity or backing of a hard asset. That's the age we live in, everyone. Let's pile it on here. I think that Alan Greenspan in that video was probably saying, that was probably filmed right around here between 2008 and 2012, whenever that happened. And then look at the absolute crap storm since then. Total verticality, okay? If you are a skier, you would be scared to come down this mountain, right? It's just too vertical. You're just going to fall. It's just falling off a cliff. It's going up a mountain or falling off a cliff. So the U.S. has added $12 trillion in debt since 2020, and I believe we just crossed, $36 trillion total in outstanding debt. We went 221 years to get to 12 trillion, and then it only took us another 14 to get another 12. This is the runaway freight train of a debt spiral. I think in the U.S. we don't think about our monetary system in such depth because we've lived in comfort for so long and generally can export our debt overseas and keep inflation overseas. However, our chickens are coming home to roost, everybody, and unsure when we'll have a real credit crisis, but the way that the 10-year is looking, spiking after rate cuts, is a little unusual. So this is something that we have to watch out for, and the bond market is the loser at the card table, so to speak. Anyway, that's our episode for today. Thank you for joining us for the Bitcoin Nightly News. Again, I'm your host, Hugh Manatee. Hit that like button on this video, okay? We got to spank that algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. you know you want to. I'd love to grow this channel and keep doing this and provide as much casual Bitcoin alpha to the average normie um, as I can. I'd love to keep doing this. I just want to be a voice in this space because there were a lot of YouTubers that I found that really helped educate me when I first got into Bitcoin. And some of those people have left the space. They've gone on to do other things, and they've finished their chapter of educating new Bitcoiners, and I'd really like the opportunity to educate as many people as I can because I think it's so valuable, and I really want to kind of take that torch and try to educate as many people as I can as early as I can because of how important I think Bitcoin is to our nation, the US, but also the world, and I'd like to see as many of my fellow Americans win. Thanks so much, guys. See you tomorrow.